You're up.
All right, let's do it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm Chris Kissel with your mindful movement class that happens every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. And we like to talk you through your body. We like to teach you what muscles are moving which joints. We are opening up your mobility in your joint. And most importantly, we're preventing you from being injured in your everyday daily routine, or if you get into some high-powered exercise class or you're in a particular sport. We want to make sure your body knows how to move efficiently. So you take these moves, you incorporate them in your everyday life, and all your joints are happy. So let's grab a yoga block. We'll probably need this today. And we're going to flow from our head to our toe. So we're going to start in our seated position. And what I love to do is get you in your seated position and then mix it up. So let's recross our legs the other direction. Let's get out of that default mode, show our body we mean business, and we are paying attention to our body. But let's just start with taking a big breath in and opening up our diaphragm. So when we breathe in, we're not just using our lungs and breathing in air, we're expanding our rib cage. So we're moving that rib cage. So let's just be mindful of where that rib cage is going today. So follow me into a deep breath. Let's bring our arms up with an inhale. And reach those arms up, reach them up to the sky. And as we exhale, bring the arms down, let the shoulders push down. So let's don't bring the arms up this time. Let's see what these ribs are doing. So place your hands on your rib cage. Take a nice deep breath in your nose. Feel those ribs expand. Feel your hands come apart. Now exhale and feel your hands come back together. Let's do that again. See how far apart you can get those fingertips. Nice big breath in, filling up the lungs, spreading the rib cage out sideways. Spread it out, spread it out, spread it out. And bring it in, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. So there's many ways to breathe. You can breathe all the way down to your belly and expand it out forward. Today we were focusing on where is that rib cage going. Okay, it's got to be able to move too. So we just loosened up our rib cage. Let's loosen up our neck. What I want you to do is I want you to take your left ear and just gently drop it to your left shoulder. Now stop where it wants to stop. What I want you to do is take your left hand, place it on the side of your head. Now push your head into your hand and your hand into your head. And then release it. Now bring it up. Once again, let's take that left ear and drop it over to our left shoulder. Did it go a little farther? Let's make it go even farther. Take your hand, place it on the side of your head, push your head into your hand, and your hand into your head. Yes, push, 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 push. And then bring it up. Let's just see where it goes. Drop it over. So you should feel a little like you got a little farther. Let's try the other side. So monitor this first movement. See where you go. So drop your head. Now take your hand, block your head, push your head into your hand. And as you do, this shoulder can relax and just hang down. Your opposite shoulder is going to relax and hang down. Good job, good job. And just come back to center. Now drop it over. See if you got any farther. I know I did. You can see it. So push, push, push. Let this open up because you're contracting this. You're shortening the muscles on the opposite side. So the muscles on the tight side are saying, hey, we can let go. There's somebody to take her head over there. That is muscle activation. Let's do it one more time. Drop it over. Nice. Push, push, push. And this tightness should be letting go. Push, push, push. And take it back. Good job, good job. So let's move the shoulders around. And what I often like to do is I like you to be mindful of your shoulder blades moving at this point, not just your shoulder joint here. So put your mind in those shoulder blades that are going to be sliding up and down your back body as you raise your shoulders up and you push your shoulders down. Think of the shoulder blades gliding up that rib cage. We've already opened up the rib cage with nice big breaths of air. And be grateful for that air you breathe. We often take it for granted, and we wouldn't be on this planet without it. So lift those shoulders up, slide up, push down, slide up, push down. Now there's another way those shoulder blades move, and your arms go along with it. So if your shoulder blades aren't moving, you will get a restriction in your shoulders, and that's where the aches and pains come in. So let's make sure the shoulder blades are moving. So we're going to bring the shoulder blades around to the side of our back body, away from our spine. So bring your arms in front of you, and I want you to push your arms forward and feel your shoulder blades come apart. Yes, push your arms forward, feel you can even round your spine a little bit. Not a whole lot, because I really want the shoulder blades to move and come back. And push and round forward, round forward, round forward, and bring it back. Let's do that again. Push and round forward, round forward, round forward, and bring it back. Okay, so now the next move our shoulder blades like to do is they like to come back and together towards our spine. So we're going to squeeze them back this time. So our arms are going to be in the same position out in front of our shoulders. But I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades back. So you're not bending your elbows, you're not pushing your arms back. You're just straight arms, you're just squeezing your shoulder blades back and together. Let me show you what this looks like from the side. So we're going to squeeze, 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 and let it release. And squeeze, 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 and let it release. All right. So we got the shoulder blades gliding. Let's get our arms going. And what I want you to do is I want you to put your palms facing down. I want you to tighten your hands right in at the knuckles. Open your thumbs, and we're going to circle forward, circle forward, circle forward. Now we're getting the movement way up here in our shoulder girdle where our rotator cuff muscles work. So you're going to circle, 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 circle. Now let's take that movement and flip-flop it. So just flip your palms up and circle back, circle back. Now as you're circling, reach your arms wide. Reach your arms as far apart as you can. That wingspan that we talk about there is the height of your body, if you're proportioned, right? And we all are, right? So reach, reach, reach. So from fingertip to fingertip is how tall we are. It's kind of hard to measure, but you can probably have somebody help you do that. All right, so we got the shoulders all nice and loose. Let's work on a little rotation and a little hip movement. So what I want you to do is keep your left leg in front of you here. And I want you to take your right leg and bring it around behind you. Now we're going to focus on this rib cage again. So what I want you to do is go ahead and put your hands on your rib cage. What I want you to think of is taking this right side of your rib cage over towards your left leg. The rest of the body goes with it. Rotate it over towards your left leg. Now once you're there, I want you to walk your hands out in front of that left leg or right next to the side of it. You're still in that same rotation. You're walking down to the floor till you can get your elbows on the floor. And I want you to stay here. Nice, nice. Now come up and then go down. And then come up with straight arms and then bend your elbows and take you down. But think of this right rib cage coming over to your left leg. So we're concentrating more than anything on the rotation of our torso, of our rib cage. Up and down, up and down. All right, so walk yourself back up. Come back to your seated position. Let's flip-flop the legs. So now your right leg is in front. Your left leg is bent behind you. Think of this rib cage. We're going to move the left side of the ribs over to the right leg. So go ahead and grab a hold of your rib cage Move it. Just let your head and shoulders follow. You're not driving this with your head and shoulders. You're really driving it with this left side of the rib cage over to the right. You might find this is a little harder to get to, or it might be easier. Pretty much you're going to find one side's easier than the other. Now we're walking our hands out. Once we found that rotation, we're still concentrating on the left side of the rib cage going towards the right leg. Now, once you're here, I want you to stay here for a second. Really concentrate on that rotation. Concentrate on that rotation. Get it there. Now, I want you to pop your elbows up off the floor and then drop them back down. Staying in that rotation. Concentrate on this left rib cage going towards that right inner thigh. Let's go up and down. Up and down. Nice job. Now that we're in this position though, let's get these hips and shoulders working together, all right? So what you're gonna do, I'm gonna scoot back a little so you can see me a little better. We're gonna stay here. We're gonna take our right hand and we're gonna use it as our kickstand. Now we're gonna keep that shoulder blade pushed down towards our back body. I want you to think of the shoulder blade pushing down away from your neck. And I want you to rise up on your knees. Rise up on your knees. Now I want you to reach up with your left hand. Reach up. So you've got that wide wingspan that we talked about when we were in a seated position. Reaching it up. Now squeeze the backside of this left hip. And you're going to be able to open up this hip flexor even more. The harder you squeeze back here, the more you'll be able to open up the front. Good job, good job. Let's get some arm circles now. Let's just do a rainbow. So we're bringing our hand over and back. Over and back. Don't forget to squeeze that backside. Open up those hip flexors. Open up that left side body. Oh, this feels so good. Open it up and take it down. All right. We can't be lopsided, so let's flip-flop it back to the other side. So now your left leg is in front. Your right leg is bent back behind you. We're going to take our left hand and use it as a kickstand. We're going to keep a nice open space in this neck. Remember, we started off by getting that space nice and open. So push your hand down into the floor, rise your neck and head up out of your hand, and then push yourself up to your knees and get that nice wingspan. Look up at your hand. You've got a nice wingspan going from fingertip to fingertip. Now from here, squeeze this backside. You're going to open up this front right hip flexor. The more you contract in the back, the more this hip flexor, which we just keep it in a folded state all day long as we sit, the more it's going to be happy and open up. So now let's move that arm into a rainbow. Bring it over and back. Over and back. And you should feel that movement all the way up your right side body. Over and back. Opening up the whole fascial system. Getting those muscles coordinated. We're going to be so coordinated today. Bring it over and back. Let's sit it down. Okay, so let's take it to the legs a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to sit, and I'll do it sideways so you can see my back. If you have a wall you can sit up against, go ahead and move to that wall because it's going to help with your posture. I don't really have a wall, and I don't want to show you the bottoms of my feet, so not that there's anything wrong with them. But what we're going to do is we're going to sit up really tall. So be mindful of your posture. The taller you sit, the harder this is going to be, but that's okay. You're going to grab onto your right bended knee, and you're going to flex your left foot. Now your left leg is straight. Now from here, we're just going to do a tiny lift of our heel up off the floor. So lift and lower, lift and lower. And as you do that, I want you to keep your back straight. I want you to lift and lower. Now, if you are at a wall and your hips are scooted up against the wall and it's very hard to lift that leg, you can scoot your hips there. If you're not against a wall and it's hard to lift your leg, I want you to keep your spine straight, but you can lean back slightly and you'll get a higher lift. Go where you can, all right? So this is the hardest, right here, straight up and down, 90-degree hip flex, and lift and lower. Let's switch legs. So the good news about this one is when you switch legs, it just feels so good for that leg you just worked, okay? So now, flex your left or your right heel, pushing your heel away from your body, sitting up really tall. So think of the top of your head going straight up to the ceiling. Your spine has a string on it. It comes up through your head and it's pulling straight up to the ceiling. So focus on your posture, push your shoulders down, shoulder blades are in your back body, and I want you to lift your heel up and down, up and down, up and down. Now you might find one side's a little harder than the other. Where you should feel this work is right here in the thigh, right here in the thigh. So up and down. Now remember, if that's extremely hard, you can keep your spine straight. You can lean back a little. We're holding on to this leg, and you can lift and lower, lift and lower. Or if you're at a wall, you just shimmy your rear end a little bit away from the wall. The closer you are to the wall, the harder it's going to be. And that's where you want to end up, but that's not necessarily where you start if that's too hard for you. All right, so let's do another move for these legs. We're going to sit with our, I want to show you this. Let's sit with our right leg bent behind us, like when we were on, I better go this way. Right leg is bent behind us, like when we were doing our other move. And you're going to sit up nice and tall. And I want you to lift this leg up and take it out and in, out and in, out and in. Now you're sitting up as tall as you can, out and in. All right, let's do the other side. So let's bend this left leg back behind us. Give yourself a minute to get in the position. You should be seated on both sits bones pretty nice. You're using your arms as a kickstand, and you're going to lift your leg and take it out and in, out and in, out and in, and out and in. Another great move for the quadriceps. So both of those moves increase the strength of your thighs, but you're not jeopardizing the knee joint in any way. You're keeping that knee in a straight, solid position, which is great. If you have knee aches and pains, those are two great moves to strengthen your thighs, which will support your knees, but you're not having to bend and extend them. So keep that in mind. Let's go down to our backs, and we're going to continue to work the legs. So bring your yoga block with you. We're going to slowly go down to the floor. So we're using our abdominals. Tighten up those abdominals. Get them tight, get them tight, get them tight. And bring it all the way down. Nice job. So from here, we're going to place this yoga block in a very specific place. We're going to put it right under our sacrum, right between our hips. So we're going to be on the bony part, right between our glute cheeks here. We're not on our low spine with this. We're supported on that bony part that is right below, just south of your lumbar spine, okay? So from here, you're going to just put your arms on the floor, get your shoulders situated. Think of those shoulder blades. Where are they? Push them down towards your back body. Squeeze them a little bit together so they're flat on the floor. Open up that neck. Place your head flat on the floor. Here we go with some great posture, right? Now bring your knees up towards your chest. And from here, I want you to straighten your legs as much as you can. So what ultimately we want to have is really straight legs. So if your legs aren't straight in this upright position, lower it down just a tiny bit. I don't want you to go any farther than that. You can have a slight bend in your knees if you need to. But the goal here is to work on the inner thighs. So what you're going to do is gently point your toes. And I want you to think of your feet pointing more than your toes. At this point, I want you to think of your heels coming towards the back of your calves and let your toes go along for the ride. Now, open out your legs wide. Open them out as wide as you're comfortable. Now, I want you to flex your feet. So think of the tops of your feet going towards your shins. Let the toes go for a ride, pushing your heels away from your body. From here, I want you to really squeeze those inner thighs together. Squeeze them together. That's where the work's coming from. Now, gently point your feet and take your legs away from your body. So the muscles that are working here are the ones on the outside of your hips. And they're going to go as far as they can control you, and then you'll feel a tightness on the inside of the leg. Let's flex the feet. Let's squeeze on that tightness, and we'll bring our legs back together. Squeeze them back together. Nice. Now, point your feet. Remember, your heels are going towards your calves. Don't just let the toes go along for the ride because we want ankle mobility here, not toe mobility. Although toe mobility is important. Now go till you feel that stopping point. You're using these abductors on the outside of your hip. We're going to use the adductors on the inside of the leg. So I want you to flex your feet. I want you to squeeze your legs back together. We're really mindful, okay? Let's just do that one more time. Point the feet. Work those ankles a little bit. Take the legs out away from the body. Flex. Bring the legs back together. Nice job, nice job. So from here, let's work the glutes a little bit. Get your yoga block out from under you and put it between your knees. We're going to use it to squeeze, do a tiny squeeze as we do this. So now what I want you to focus on are your glutes on the back side, your gluteus maximus, your butt, whatever you want to call it. I want you to squeeze those cheeks together right there. Squeeze them right on the floor. Squeeze them right there as hard as you can. Now, once you have that squeeze, I want you to lift the hip pointers up to the ceiling. So think of these hip pointers going straight up to the ceiling. Lift them up there. Lift them up there. Now keep squeezing as you lower it down. Keep squeezing. We're going to use these glutes as we lower it down. Keep squeezing. Now just go ahead and release for a tiny break. I want you to squeeze those glutes again. Squeeze them hard while you're on the floor. Get a nice contraction there. Now lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Try to keep them level and steady. Keep them level and steady. Pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. And then lower down with that same intensity of squeezing. That same control. We've got control on both sides of this motion. All right, let's do it one more time. Squeeze the glutes. Lift the hips up. Lift them, lift them, lift them, lift them, lift them. And then lower it down, lower it down, lower it down. All right. Now from here, we're going to work our lower abdominals, okay? So I want you to learn how to really engage this group of lower abdominals. These hook onto your pubic bone, and they're going to actually bring you into good posture so you don't have a sway back when you're standing, and your spine fits nice in between your sacrum. So what you're going to do is I want you to put both your hands on the tips of your pubic bones, okay? And I want you to kind of tilt your chin towards your chest. So you're gazing towards the top of your knees. Because what we're going to do is we're going to round our low back into the floor. If our low back is rounding this way, our neck needs to round the same way. Your neck and your low back should always move the same way. So be mindful of that, or you're going to get problems at one end of the other. So I am gazing down towards my knees, which brings my chin to my chest, and it also rounds the back of my neck a little bit towards the floor. So it doesn't have to be on the floor. Now your fingertips are right on that bridge of the pubic bone because I want you to feel what's happening here. Pull your navel into your spine, and you should feel just a gentle little tilt. Just minuscule tilt of that pubic bone coming up to you because you're contracting these muscles right here in the front. You're contracting these guys. And then release it. So let's go back into that set. If any of you women have had a C-section or anybody's had abdominal surgery, you need to do this. You need to do this. This is your rehab. You get a C-section, they cut through your belly. They don't give you any rehab and they send you home with a baby. Okay, almost cruel, right? So bring your chin to your chest, gaze into your knees, pull your navel into your spine, pull it hard into your spine. Just think of rounding that low back into the floor as this pubic bone tilts up a little. Think of rounding, think of rounding, think of rounding. Hold it tight and relax. Let's do that one more time. So go ahead and last one here. Remember, we're tucking our chin to our chest so we can gaze at the top of our knees. Our fingertips are on our pubic bone and we're pulling our navel, pushing it to the floor, pushing it to the floor. And it's allowing the low back to round, to round, to round. All right. So we're going to take that pubic bone from one last thing, and we're going to move it one side and then move the other, because there's actually a joint right in the middle of that pubic bone. That's your pubic symphysis. So there is a little bit of movement where you can single things out. And that's what happens when we walk. So I want you to take your left knee and bring it up to your chest. See how close you can get it. It's kind of like what we did with our neck when we started. Now take your left hand, put it in front of your left knee. And I want you to push your knee into your hand, and you can feel that pubic bone tilt again up toward you. Push your knee into your hand, push your knee into your hand, and then take it down. This is something you can do before you get out of bed. Just get that low back rocking a little bit, get that pelvic tilt moving, and get our hips moving before we start walking. So let's try the other side. You're going to bring your right knee toward your chest, and then you're going to push your knee into your hand and your hand into your knee. You're going to get that slight tilt of that pubic ridge coming towards you. Nice, nice, hold it. Let's just do it one more time each side so you can see if you got a little farther. Each time your knee should get a little closer to your chest. It's a lot easier. Okay, now let's give it that push, push, push. Keep pushing. 6-second hold here is a great amount of time to spend on this. And take it down. See if this one loosened up. Bring it up toward your chest. Put your hand, block it. Now tuck, pushing your knee into your hand. You get that little tilt of that pubic bone. Get that nice tilt. We're holding for 6 seconds. Take it down. Good job. Go ahead and roll over to your side. And sit up. Get in your crisscross state, whatever is natural for you. And let's just do a few hip circles to finish this up. Go ahead and finish this up and then roll the other way. All right, you should be feeling really good from your head to your toe. I hope you can pick out a few of these movements, incorporate them in your daily routine to get your body going, to stay moving efficiently, effectively, and pain-free. So join us every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks, guys.